A fiery hearing going on, focusing on the controversial decision of Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin to end 5 Fed emergency lending programs. Banking Committee ranking member Sherrod Brown blasted Mnuchin for his decision, saying the Trump administration was trying to, quote, sabotage the economy on its way out the door.
As you know, Mr. Secretary, when the biggest banks and the largest corporations need help, their allies in Washington spring into action. But when the rest of the country needs investment and support, you want to pretend we just can't afford it. You cited congressional intent as a flimsy justification for your decision. I can tell you right now, we didn't intend for struggling businesses to have to wait over 3 months to have access to the lifeline.
Mnuchin fired back that he was acting by what he believed to be the letter of the intent and the law of Congress in not extending the programs beyond December 31st.
So welcome to the Steve&Bobby Show. This is what we're going to be discussing today. Of course, I'm here, Steve Williams, here with Bobby Bliatu as usual. We led you in with the video, so you guys know exactly what we're going to be talking about, which is this 450, and this is something that you know a lot about because of what you do
yeah.
and the stuff. So you can enlighten us on this loan project. This is the thing this is the main question I'm going to ask about this, because I don't know anything about it. There's $450 million. I know there's huge corporations that have taken this money, billions of dollars worth of this money. The $450 billion is unused, and I'm seeing all these businesses around that are shuttered. Why is that money not being used, or why are these businesses, were they on the rocks already? What I don't understand how this is being unused.
Well, neither does most of Congress, right?
Okay.
I think from the very beginning, I've always said that, for a long time now, I can't say from the very beginning, but for a long time, I've been saying Congress needs to get its act together. We're going to come to a day when there's going to be vaccines. We're going to come to a day where we don't know what happens, what's going to happen, that we're going to have to continually find ways to keep our economy moving, making sure there's food on everyone's table, and, that it's moving. We didn't do that. We thought that passing the CARES Act, putting the stimulus money out there, putting the PPP out there was going to be it. Putting loans out there, small business loans for all these organizations was going to be it, right? Like everyone's going to flock to it, all right? I know from, living in the communities that I live in and where I'm from, watching people struggle in business. Right now, there's a lot of money that's out there. A lot of people don't go for it. They don't know. And even without the PPP, without the CARES, 2 years ago, 10 years ago, city governments will put out money for the community. Community members aren't told how or outreach to get this funding. And they're scared to get it when they see all the paperwork. There's no assistance. So that money goes unused, or the big corporations or the ones that don't need it get it. That's what happens. Congress should have known if they were connected in any way to the smaller communities. That's why I saw through PPP, the big places got it. We know that. The big places got it. I had my struggles. I told you there were things that I wrote about, things that I had said, like even me as an individual person. One of my businesses got it, the bigger one. The big one got it. And as coming in from a smaller place and trying to justify what we're doing, it was very hard for me just to navigate the waters without getting that, special treatment kind of going through. Yeah. That second round, I got that special treatment.
Yeah.
Okay, Bobby,
we know who you are.
And that isn't necessary. That shouldn't have to happen that way, right? Yeah. So when you're writing the legislation, you're like, okay, look, there's got to be a limit to it. So on a certain day, it's got to end, right? So you're saying, hey, Steve Mnuchin, your whole group is going to do this. You need to make sure that you outreach correctly. You need to make sure that you do everything right to make sure that everyone uses his funds. So they took the power away from him at the end of December 31st this year. On December 31st, it's like $167 billion that cannot be given to any new group. So no more new investments. I mean, that's why he's saying to the law. It states that so that's why he's asking for the money just to be returned to the general fund. It's like, look, it's not being used. There's no more applications open. The process is over. That's done. If you want more money, there's a pot of money right here. So return to general fund, and it's it. On the other side, it's like that money's there, like what you're saying. Why don't we just use it? And so I don't like the way that Mnuchin handled it. But Mnuchin is actually, if you're being one of those guys, I'm sticking to the letter of the law, and I'm just going to do this, to the letter of the law, then that's fine.
Yeah.
Right? But again, you're not just doing it to the letter of law. You're doing it to the best interests of America. And the best interest of America is to urge Congress to extend it, to give you the power to do something, to target it. But that could have been done back in, back there in September. It didn't have to be now when we have like 20-something days left before the end of the year. And that's kind of where it's gone to now. And now all you want to see is the blame game. And I know congressional members and everyone, love everything that you're doing, that you're trying to do stuff, but we've been in a big battle this last year. Now the elections are over. All that stuff is done. Really got to get to work. Got to get to work, right? All the stuff they said that you should be working on, and all your constituents that said you should be working on, get to work on it. And when Steve Mnuchin now, even though there's 27 days later, is saying, look, if you want to change the law, change it. I'll do whatever you want me to do. Then change the law. When Mitch McConnell is holding everything off and saying, look, I don't like what you have, but we got to get something done, they just get together and get something done. But I know people like Mitch McConnell they're just doing whatever the president wants.
Yeah.
Because right now he's using an excuse. Well, the president doesn't want it.
I don't think Mitch McConnell's doing what the president wants.
No. Actually, that's his excuse.
Yeah.
His excuse is,
I see.
look, in the end, you're going to need the president to sign it.
Yeah.
And if you want the president to sign it, we got to convince him, and this ain't going to work. He didn't think that when Obama was around, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Okay, so he doesn't really care for what the president wants. They are stalling. They're going back, like you said. We've both said the deficit, all those things, how we're going to make it.
They're already going
They're
back to
doing
that. Yeah.
But in this particular case, we're arguing about something that we shouldn't be arguing about. Because Mnuchin's saying, look, tell me where to spend it, but make it the law. You see? Mm-hmm. So let's do it. He's agreeing, right? He's agreeing. So let's do it. And, and we have legislators that are trying to say, it's your fault. Say it's your fault. He's not going to. Let's get past that. You got the result.
What I've noticed. I'm sorry, I cut you
No,
off.
go ahead.
But because I was thinking about this right now. What I've noticed with Steve Mnuchin was, in his tenure as Treasury Secretary, he isn't so disappointing as I thought he was going to be, in the sense of, because when Obama was talking about, Obama was looking for votes, right? Remember that? He was looking for votes, and he said, hey, shit, give everybody money. I don't care. And and Mnuchin was saying the same thing. Hey, we need to pump money into the economy. Do you remember that? Mm-hmm. We need to pump money. They were talking like Democrats. We need to pump money into the economy. And then it got Mitch McConnell. He doesn't want to do it. And I don't understand. I don't get I don't understand his position. I understand conservative position and fiscal responsibility. Do you think it's because of the fiscal responsibility? Like because he's a conservative and he doesn't believe in spending money, but because he can't fight Trump, of course. Do you understand that?
I do understand.
I don't understand if he's getting what he wanted, because in the first bill he got what he wanted.
But I think that's what it is. It's getting what you wanted. This is why I've always said, you say too, some people just need to go because they've been there too long. They forgot what they're there for, right? He wants the win.
Yeah.
And if it's not their idea.
You're talking about Mitch McConnell wants to win?
Mitch McConnell wants to win. He wants it to be his idea. It has to be his way.
I see.
That's what I believe,
Yeah.
right? But regardless,
So he's like Trump, but in a strategy way.
Because you want to have a push for something, right?
Yeah.
And it is true that we need to have a targeted relief fund.
Yeah.
Okay. What Democrats have pushed through in the House, it's not a targeted relief fund, right? But we have 20-something days left.
So was that $450 billion?
That's of the old one. That's the old one. That's what it is now.
Let's say that old one, right? That's left in there. Mm-hmm. Is that so is that money allocated to the banks? Where's that? Where does that
the money
get
that we're talking
lended?
about is for lending. So that is with the banks.
So go to the banks.
It's going to.
So these are programs that the banks.
Yep.
Okay.
Like PPP.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So there's like $167,000 of PPP still out there. $67 billion for PPP or something like that.
That like hospital organizations or anybody?
Anybody.
Oh, okay.
Any business can go for that didn't. There's so many businesses that did not go for it.
Okay.
And there's so many businesses that did go for it in different industries, right? So that money's there. But however, if you didn't apply before and it's January, if that money's still there, there's no reason for that money to stay there if no one else can apply for it. Mm-hmm. And basically, technically, the ones who can apply for that money are people who got it already.
Can they, this is another question. I know, so Congress allocates the purse, right? They're in charge of the purse. So can Nancy Pelosi reallocate that money, say that $450 billion? Can she reallocate that, even though it was
No,
from
they
the
just
last
legislated.
bill?
No, they legislated, and that's all Mnuchin's asking for, right?
Oh, just redo it.
Yeah,
that
amend it.
450
Yeah,
billion.
amend it. It's
So
like
why doesn't
Section
Pelosi do that?
4029 or
then?
so. Because that money was allotted for this, and it should stay there for this.
I see it. I
but
see
it's
what
the
you're saying.
time limit of he says it
I
goes.
got you.
So
So he doesn't want new money. He wants to use the $450 billion that's already.
No, if they would just state, well, actually, what he wants to have it extended and him have the power to choose where it goes.
Oh, hell
Right,
no.
so that's a different story.
Oh,
That's
okay.
a different story.
Oh, that
right?
changes the.
It may sound like I'm defending Mnuchin. I'm not. What I'm defending is that everyone's kind of messing up because the rule is right there and you need to do something about it. Mnuchin could have handled it better and could have put pressure earlier, but he stayed in his route. Congress could have acted better by seeing what was going to happen and 4 months ago made the amendments necessary to do this so that we don't have to concentrate on this and we can concentrate on the new stimulus, right? Not, taking one out and putting in another. It's like that was already reserved.
So
We need a
Nancy
new
Pelosi's
pot.
like, that's
there.
different. We already voted on
yes.
that.
We need $908 billion more for this other stuff.
They trying
right?
some shiesty junk. They don't
Right.
push the $450 billion when they
Right.
could have been pushing that.
Right. But Mnuchin has no power to change anything.
Yeah.
So it's like if we said
He can only allocate them.
right, and if they said, oh yeah, don't worry about it, allocate it, then he'll be breaking the law if he does it to new groups like the motor industry, the transportation industry. They didn't get a lot of it, right?
Okay, that makes sense.
So he just needs a change. He actually said before Congress to like if President Trump would sign an executive order to sign over and do this or give us instruction to do it, then we would just do it.
Can he do an executive order of the
Probably,
450?
I think so.
Yeah, because he did it with the wall, with
So,
the money
yeah.
being sent to troops.
And if Congress was cool with it, then they would do it.
Okay.
But that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
That's why Mnuchin can say something like that because
Yeah.
he knows it's not going to happen. And at the same time, what was really interesting, I don't know if you got to watch the hearings.
I did.
As people were attacking him, and our girl AOC gets up there. I'm like, okay, is she going to rip him apart? She did what was right. I was very happy with what she kind of said and did. It's like, fine.
Who did?
AOC.
AOC.
Okay, let's say you're right. The law says that. Can we do this? Can we do this? Can we try? And he's like, yeah.
Did you see Porter too?
And I think, yes. and I really believe that that's what has to happen.
Yeah.
It's like, look, we got 25 days left. What can we do? Where are we all going to get together on something? Let's do it. If you just need us to amend it and say you have the power to do it for these groups and new groups, we'll leave it there. We'll go with it. Now we worry about this other $908 billion because now we have to, get this through for this other group. But we do need a targeted program. And what I mean by targeted is like, look, these industries took, like airline industries took a lot of that money.
Yeah.
And they got a lot of it. So if we put more out, do we want the airline industry to be a competitor for new money? Probably not. So within which groups? We don't have enough time to discuss that, write legislation for and do it, right? Mm-hmm. So I mean, because what we have at our disposal is what we have. And the data that we have is what we have. No one's done the other study, but we know people need to get money. We know people need to be able to eat, we know these businesses need to run. We know we need to continue to provide healthcare. So guess what? What we have is what we have. Let's move forward and then let's hope we're over with it. But we don't know when the end's going to be. I mean, there's what they call the post-pandemic economy, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it may be completely different. We may have new jobs.
Yeah.
We have new training. We have new industries, right? We are changing the way our economy works in a sense of what are the driving factors of our economy, right?
Yeah.
And so that stuff is going to change probably after the pandemic is over. So since we don't know, we got to do what we got to do right now to carry people through for the next couple months, And that's what has to happen. Mm-hmm. But a targeted deal, all I can see us doing is making small, minor changes to how we did PPP. Obviously, force people to keep people hired. I don't care if there's a shutdown. I don't care if the government shuts it down, and you're a business and you have employees, and you got the loan to pay for these employees that will be forgiven. Yeah. Pay them.
Yeah.
I know they're not working. Pay them.
You have the money for it.
Yes.
Well, anyway, tell us where we're at because we're 13 minutes in.
I am so sorry.
I tell you, we get into these, but this is something that you're knowledgeable in,
Yeah,
and it's important that people understand that because you're dealing with it yourself, especially with what you do. So this is important stuff. So, it's good that we, that at least our audience will understand kind of at least
Stay
a
safe.
little
I
bit.
mean, the real quick thing is please reach out for assistance. There is assistance at your city council level and at your county level. All throughout this entire country, there should be assistance for you to find out how to get the money that you need to keep your business going. I know some of the paperwork will look crazy or maybe hard to do.
Don't be scared of it.
There is assistance in getting that too. And I don't care where you are in this country. If you need help in that, in fact, comment here. If you get it anyone else, I'll help look for assistance in your area to get you the funds that you need to be able to survive and get you through this moment, okay? And you can always send an email to congressional members or anything. Just voice your opinion so people can speak out for you too, all right? It's very important, but the money is there. Money is there for you right now.
Well, that is it for us. Like Bobby said, make sure that you go out there and do what you need to do, especially if you're owning businesses, because you guys, especially small businesses, are the fabric of this country. It's how we function. It's what put us together. It is the reason why the United States is what it is today. Big corporations are great. They do great things. They keep the competition good, but so does little businesses. And those things are important as well. So anyway, I appreciate you guys for watching the Steve and Bobby Show here in Mad Talk TV studios here in Fresno, California. Make sure you tune into some of the other Mad Talk TV studio. What do we have? We have Supermax. We got a ton of them. So make sure you guys go to the Mad Talk Facebook page and click on some of those others. There's great content over there. So make sure you guys tune in. And anyway, thank you very much for watching Steve and Bobby Show. We'll see you on the other side.